Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
We're checking in with the Reidsville Police Department today. On our media line is Jessica Dillon, Animal Control Officer. Hey, Jessica, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Well, we want to find out a number of things from you today, but first, can you give us a kind of an overview, a job description, Jessica? What does the Animal Control Officer for the city of Reidsville do? Some of your responsibilities.
Some of my responsibilities is just, educate the public on, animal laws that they may not be aware of, or, and, making sure the animals are current on the rabies vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other than that, it's just basically enforcing, the ordinances and North Carolina law for, animals.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. You mentioned rabies right there. Let's talk about, because springtime, I haven't heard a date here lately, but normally we have a spring rabies clinic. Do we have one scheduled anywhere anytime soon?
We do not have one scheduled. We don't have one scheduled right now, but I am in contact with a local vet. We are discussing when we can possibly do a date for a rabies clinic. Right now, we're looking at probably mid-June, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I should know more about that today, so I'll keep everyone posted as we get more information on it.
Sure. Yeah, that's very important for sure. And speaking of rabies, where are we? I know there was a story I saw recently about a rabid animal somewhere. Was that here in the county, I believe? I'm thinking, kind of going from memory here.
It was in the county. I think it may have been in Madison.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So there was someone that was attacked. I think it was by a fox that did come back, positive for rabies.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a minute, Jessica, because we hear about fox and coyotes, and there are all kinds of wild animals out there, and I know you wanted to address that a little bit, so give us how we can be prepared for things like that.
Well, a lot of people don't, we like to have bird feeders and stuff, and we don't, understand that, foxes and stuff are attracted to, smaller animals. So when you have bird feeders out, you've got to be aware that you've got, squirrels and, all these other small animals coming to eat. And, we're basically, in a way welcoming, unwanted wildlife.
Yeah.
When we have our garbage cans outside, we need to make sure we have those secure, closing off crawl spaces, and, to, kind of like if you have pets, you kind of want to feed them inside. Or if you feed them outside, to make sure you bring in those food bowls at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good advice for sure. Yeah, we're just kind of setting ourselves up for some things there sometimes, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about spay and neuter programs? That's so important, and a lot of people just don't see the value of that. So tell us a bit about that, Jessica.
It's important to spay neuter because if you don't get your pet spayed and neutered, then we're kind of just overpopulated with, especially during this time of year, you have a lot of cats and stuff that are, giving birth to kittens, and it just kind of overpopulates the area. So if we're getting them fixed, then, it calms that down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And should we, how do we handle that? Do we go through a vet's office for things like that, I guess?
You can. I know that the Rockingham County Animal Shelter offers a pickup and drop-off site for a place in Greensboro called Planned Pethood. I know the cost for getting a dog spayed or neutered is $75, and the price for a cat is $65. If they do not have a rabies vaccine, they offer those as well for $10.
Okay. Yeah, that's just being a responsible pet owner. That's what it comes down to in all of these things, isn't it?
Yes, sir, I agree.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we have an inside kitty, so, she's not out exposed. She's right inside with us, a rescue cat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know one of the things you're responsible for is enforcing the laws And let's talk a little bit about leash laws, because that kind of varies from municipality to municipality. So tell us what that's like in Reidsville.
During this time of year, as the weather starts, getting nicer, people are wanting to take their pets out more, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, you've got to realize that there is a leash law. Anytime you take an animal out, whether it's a cat or a dog, you have to be able to physically contain those animals. So you should have them on a leash. It is citable. You can get a fine for it. If you can't be outside with your pet for any reason, then you could get a 15-foot coated cable, and you can have them on that, and they can be out there by themselves as long as they have food, water, and shelter.
Okay. So 15 feet is the length of the cable. Okay, yeah, because I've heard different numbers on that as well.
Yes, sir. Here in the city, it's a 15-foot coated cable.
Okay, 15-foot coated cable. Okay, and we don't have dogs, so what is a coated cable? Is that just to protect them around the neck and that kind of thing?
It is, because that coated cable is not going to tangle up as easily either, to where if you have them on a chain, a lot of those chains are just heavy as well, for any animal to have on their neck to hold them.
Mm-hmm.
And that cable is not going to tangle up as easily, and it's lightweight.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. What about? Is there a particular space, a size that you can have? That you're required to have an animal in if you have one confined outside.
If you have them confined in a kennel, they have to be in a 10 by 10.
10 by 10. Okay. All right. We've talked about cats and dogs a little bit here. I know there was one of our municipalities, because I went to some of the town meetings on this, had some issues with chickens. Do you have any? Because that comes under your control too, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Do you have many chickens? Is this just in the city limits? Is that a situation you have from time to time?
It is, and they are allowed to be in the city of Reidsville. If you have them, you treat them just like you would any other pet.
Mm-hmm. So just be responsible and obey all the laws and rules and regulations there.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know there's some size issues of where you keep chickens and all of that too. If someone has a question about anything rather than do it wrong and maybe get fined or whatever, are you pretty accessible? You can maybe even come talk to them in person or on the phone?
Yes, sir. They can reach out to me through the police department or, through dispatch. I'm more than, glad to talk to anyone about any issue they may be having, just to educate them. That way, there is no issues. Now, going back to the chickens that you were talking about too,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just so that people know, they can't run around freely. They have to be secure.
Right. Yeah. I understand that for sure. Yeah, we've had a situation. Chicken just appeared magically in our yard here a couple of months back, here in the city limits. We're in Eden. Where did these chickens come from? And so I called our animal control officer. So, yeah, we'll take care of that situation there. They didn't even leave us any eggs or anything, just chickens roaming around, scratching in the flower beds. Yeah. Are you available? I know, with COVID, we haven't been able to get out and talk to civic groups and things like that. But are we seeing that opening up more? Are you able to get out and talk to some different organizations, perhaps?
We are working on that as everything, kind of lifts with, the COVID regulations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, hopefully there'll be more of that, in the future.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to choose maybe, Jessica, the top one or two issues or problems and something that you need there in the city of Reidsville that really, people need to be more aware of, what would that be? What do you need to tell people?
The main three things that I'm seeing right now is, just, as we had just discussed about the leash law, you need to make sure your animals are secure if they're going to be outside. And then, the rabies. A lot of people that I have spoke with recently about, their animal being up to date on the rabies vaccine, for some reason a lot of people are thinking that their pet has to be a year old to be vaccinated. And the North Carolina law states that they have to be vaccinated at the age of 4 months. So there's a lot of uncertainty as to when people are supposed to get them vaccinated, and it is 4 months of age. And then, the wildlife, I've gotten a lot of calls about those lately. And, like we talked about, just keeping your garbage secure and feeding your pets indoors. And, if you are seeing an issue with them, and it's more than it should be, and you see that it's causing a problem, people can reach out to North Carolina Wildlife.
Okay. Oh, great advice. Okay. Well, thank you for that. This has been a very educational time here, because I didn't know that the 4 months there with what you were just saying there. I thought it was probably, I didn't really know. So, that's been very helpful. Give us a phone number, how we can get in contact with you there at the police department.
336-349-1010.
349-1010. Okay.
Yes.
Reidsville Police, and then just ask for the animal control officer, and that's you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got about a minute left. Anything to kind of sum up, if you wanted to, Jessica?
I can't really think of anything. We had discussed the rabies clinic, and, hopefully I'll be able to get some more information out about that, either tomorrow or the beginning of next week.
Okay. Yeah, and let us know, too, and we'll share that information. Well, I know you've got certainly an important job there in what you do, and I appreciate that. Jessica, it's good to get acquainted. Thank you for what you do there as animal control officer for the city of Reidsville, and appreciate your good work, and wish you all the best out there. Be careful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jessica. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Jessica Dillon is the animal control officer for the city of Reidsville. And again, if you have any questions, she gave you the phone number there, and get in touch with her. Or you can go to the Facebook page for the Reidsville Police Department. I was just checking it out as we were talking, as a matter of fact. Reidsville Police Department on Facebook. They keep that really current with some information there as well. And, of course, I'll remind you, as always, to be sure to visit riseupreadsville.com.